And I think it was Billy Shakespeare that said, "A Klon by any other name would be just as sweet." I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I'm pretty sure he was talking about the Origin Effects Halcyon Gold, a reimagining of the classic Klon Centaur. It's the latest in the line of adaptive circuitry pedals. You know, they started with the Halcyon Green, the DCX Boost, the MEQ driver, and now finally the gold, the Halcyon Gold. And I think I know why we all love Origin Effects, because all their pedals have these like hidden little tricks that come with each one, right? There's like little switches, little knobs, little things that you go, oh, what's this do? What's this do? It's like they're thinking ahead. They're thinking for me, which is good. I hate to think. It's hard for me to think. I would like companies to think for me just like Origin Effects does.
I'm living a teenage dream. The way you turn me on, I couldn't sleep. Let's run away and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. My heart stops when you look at me. Just one touch, your baby, I believe this is real. Take the chance and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back.
The Klon has been around for probably as long as I've been playing guitar, right? In the 90s, Bill Finnegan came up with it, and he wanted to create that cranked tube sound of an amp, but in a pedal. Sound familiar, right? A lot of people try to chase that sound. That is like the sound. So I missed the boat on the original Klon. I missed the boat on the Bad Monkey that came out with Digitech. I missed the second Bad Monkey Digitech thing when Josh Scott talked about it. But, you know, I realized that like it's actually okay that I missed the boats, because now I get to enjoy this all on its own. It's very fresh, very new to me, right? I'm not tainted and cynical like all these other guys who, you know, they're like, oh, I've been playing a Klon. I used to have an original Klon. I'm like, oh, I'm happy for you, but I haven't. So this is fresh and new to me, so don't ruin it. Don't kill my vibe. Let me enjoy this. Don't take this away from me. It's all I have. It's good. It's great. Let me talk about my signal chain. I got Lawler pickups on this Telecaster going into a Strymon Iridium on the round channel, going into a Strymon Flint for some reverb, into a Warm Audio WA73 EQ, and then I got a York Audio Deluxe Reverb IR in my DAW. Here's my clean tone. Sounds really good, right? We're gonna go through the adaptive circuitry first, because I really think that is like the crown jewel on this pedal. That's what makes this pedal very different and very usable, in my opinion, okay? So right now we have no adaptive circuitry on. You can see right over there. The problem with the original Klon Centaur, great lead tone and a great transparent boost tone, but you can't have them at the same time, because the Klon, when you roll it off, it doesn't handle that well. It doesn't like do what you would want it to do. They fixed that. Look at this. Still a lot of mids there, right? Listen to that. There's bass now. There's more high end. Listen, like that's like a complete mid hump, which is cool if you're just doing lead stuff, but oh Now see, now you roll it back and it's great, and then you want that lead back. And it works on the bridge too, right? Right? There's that clarity, there's that low end thump that you want. I'm never gonna move it from that switch. So one is a little bit less roll off, okay? So like if you don't want as much roll off, that works. Two has the most high end and the most low end, right? Cool, very cool. Oh, I love it. Okay, relax. You relax, I'll relax. We're all relaxed. So the other fun thing is the mod switch. The original voicing for the Klon, well, it's this, right? Very mid-focused, right? There's a mid hump there. That is great. Again, like that's a great sound, but sometimes, especially with single coils, it won't play well. That goes really well with humbuckers, and I'll show you. But when you're playing single coils, sometimes you're like, man, should I put a boost in front? Because to fill up for this like low mids that I'm missing. So like when you have an EQ, right? Here's an EQ. I'm boosting mids, right? But on a single coil, a lot of time it's like this. Right, so you're missing some low mids, right? That's not what a single coil does. A humbucker does, but not a single coil. So now you have like you have a huge spike, and then you got a dip, and that can sound like sometimes too honky, right? It's like wah, 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 right? And so you want to be able to fill in that, and a solution for that normally you would fill that in with a boost pedal, because a boost would take your single coil from this to this. Right? Like a boost obviously raises it. So like now your floor is higher here. And sometimes with an EQ boost, you even can just like flatten it out. So it's like a more full spectrum. But if let's say you don't have those things, now you can just use this mod and it sounds great for a single coil. Right? A little bit like softer, a little bit wider too. It's not as pronounced. You hear that difference? Like, I mean, it's subtle, but it helps, especially like when you're playing a huge amp, right? Or when you're being mic'd on stage, like, or when you're chasing like a very specific tone in the studio. Like, you don't want to be like, close enough. If you can control it and you know it's going to sound better, you want to have that option. So now, with those two switches engaged, I got the mod on for single coil. I got the adaptive circuitry on 2 for like perfect roll-off tones. And now it's like I'm ready to go, right? volume, all from just pickup changes and volume, and you got everything you would want out of that Klon. That transparent boost, that crazy lead tone, a good tone with single coils. All these things that make me never want to buy a real Klon for the money, but also for the tone. Let's check out a humbucker real quick. Mod sound with no adaptive circuitry. Adaptive circuitry number 1. Now let's try it with a real amp. Right now I'm playing Silver Sky SE into my Fender Blues Jr. I got a mic'd with a Shure SM7B, and that's going into the Warm Audio WA73. Man, sounds great. I saved one of the coolest tricks for last. It's got a dry knob. In the original Klon Centaur, it would route your clean signal back into the signal, right? But you didn't have any control over it. It just like always was on, which is what gave it that transparent sound, because it would always give you some of your dry signal too. And so Origin Effects said like, hey, like let's give them a knob. So it's very subtle. You can control the amount. And it's good when you're stacking drives too, when you're going into the Halcyon Gold, so it doesn't overload the circuit within the Halcyon Gold. So let me show you this. Right, just a lot of clarity. Cool, right? And then have a DCX boost in boost mode, and I have the gain all the way up on that, so it's like really cranking into the Halcyon Gold. Maybe I don't want to crank it that much. Do you hear that? It's very subtle, but it's like it's essentially taking away low mids, which are muddy and woofy kind of stuff, like probably around 200 or 300 hertz, and then it's like giving you a lot more attack on your pick. I can feel it. It's more of a feel thing. So like maybe you can hear it a little, but like with all these Origin Effects pedals, especially with Adaptive Circuitry, it's all feel. Feel doesn't get talked about a lot, and that is too bad, because we should start talking about feelings more, but we should start talking about feel more, right? Feel, like these are all, you play this with your hands, right? Your hands is the only way to make this work. And the way like you perceive an instrument, the way you perceive like any kind of tool, not just music, but this is all across the board. The way something feels will tell your brain good, bad, like play harder, play softer, turn that screwdriver harder, or whatever it is, right? Feedback is literally how you learn. That's like one of the first things you learn as a child, right? Is feedback. You're like feeling the ground. You learn how to walk, learn how to eat, learn how to hold a spoon, how to balance a pea on your spoon, right? And then finally you get a guitar and you realize like, wow, I have to press really hard on these strings to get a note. Like my hands are weak. And then you get older and hands get stronger. Then you add pedals, right? And once you add pedals, then you start realizing like, oh, when I play it hard, it does this. When I play it light, it does that. That's like the most rudimentary. But then it becomes like, oh, like when I kind of like touch it a little bit lightly, you start to learn like degrees, right? And it's not something you think about anymore. It becomes automatic. It's just like something that becomes a part of like your natural instinct on how you play with your toys, right? Let's go to the middle pickup. I love the middle pickup on this guitar. Quick thank you to Origin Effects. They did send me this pedal. That was it. They said, check it out. And I did check it out, and boy, do I like it. As an opening track, I used all sorts of different kind of tones and everything, different IRs, all the different amps in the Iridium. And the Halcyon Gold played great with all of them. I used all these different types of guitars on it too. I used my Tele, I used the PRS single cut. I used it with my Classic Vibe Jaguar the other day. I mean, it's like, it sounds great with all these different kinds of pickups, which is what you want, right? If you're spending a lot of money on something, like it better work with your guitar collection. And it plays nice with all my other pedals too. Obviously the DCX boost goes great into it, but it works great with any boost going into it. It works great going into mod. This pedal works great with modulation, which is ideal because so much of my life is filled with like buyer's remorse, post-purchase rationalization, like survivor bias, recency bias, and like the crawling anxiety that is inside my soul that is desperate to come out at any moment. But this pedal will not cause that. Other pedals will. Other purchases will, but not this pedal. Is this Centaur formidable enough to slay your old overdrives? And to give you true tone, only you will know. If you want to know more about the venerable Origin Effects product line, here's a playlist of all the pedals I've reviewed. Thanks.
Just love, we can dance until we die. You and I will be young forever. You make me feel like I'm living a teenage dream. The way you tell me I can't sleep. Let's run away and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. My heart stops when you look at me. Just one touch, no.